When I was in high school and in ministry at my parish, I was part of this leadership group. And there was a particular task group where we were in charge of helping our fellow friends and other teenagers find opportunities to go out and serve people. So like every month we set up trips to a local soup kitchen, or we helped the food bank package foods for families who needed it. We did things like river cleanups and like literally any kind of service you can think of. Our group was in charge of doing it. And at that time, like I remember that we felt like we could do anything, like we could take on any injustice in the world and fix it, right? That like we could go for it, that our little church group could change the world. And it was a really great time until I remember towards the end of one summer in high school, our parish was visited by a priest from Uganda. And he has started a ministry, or really an organization that helped kids in his village receive an education. And so he came to our parish to talk about it because he knew a priest at our parish, and he was trying to get help to build that up. And that was like the first time that I think I ever really realized like how small I was, and feeling like there were things in the world and suffering and poverty that I wasn't gonna be able to fix, and feeling like really, really helpless about it. I think that connects really well to our gospel this week, because Luke, the writer of this gospel, gives us an insight to how Jesus views the poor and how he prioritizes them, and then invites us in that same way to look to the poor and to love them and to serve them. He tells the story of the rich man and Lazarus, right? And this rich man who has everything that he can think of, he wants for nothing. And he probably walked past Lazarus in his poverty, who had nothing, and never thought to help him, right? And so what happens at the end of their lives, Lazarus is carried away by angels, the gospel says. And the rich man doesn't have quite the same experience. And this is a great reminder to us about what discipleship is not, but then points us to what discipleship is then. That as disciples, we are called to serve the poor, to not overlook them, to not forget about them, but to go out to meet them and to encounter them and to raise them up to the dignity that they deserve and that they are worthy of. So I know a lot of times when we think about these things and we think about the poor and what we can do for them, we often go to kind of two trains of thought, right? The first being that like, well, we don't have everything, right? How can we give what the poor need? And right, we might not be rich like the rich man in this parable. We might not have the finest clothes, and we might not feast on the best foods every night. But we do have a lot of luxuries in our life that make us more privileged than others. And there is definitely a lot that we have that we don't necessarily need, that we have just out of a desire, but that is not like basic or essential for our lives, that we can share from our abundance, from the much that we have. We can certainly give to others. And I think another thought then that we have is like, the little that I do, what kind of impact could that possibly have? Like what is little old me gonna do in this little corner of the world? But I think Jesus is like showing us through this that like the rich man didn't have to go save an entire group of people, right? Or an entire city, or every poor person in his town. It was just that one that was before him. And that's the same way that we are called. Like, who is that one person in need, or those people in need, like right around us, right? We don't have to go far. We don't have to do this big thing. We just have to look around. Where do we encounter the poor in our lives? And what's that small thing that we can do for them? So I want to challenge you to really like reflect on that and to look around and see like, what is the need in your community and how can you respond to it, right? Is it taking a trip to the local food pantry and serving food and spending time with people who don't have much, right? And giving of your time to them. Could it be something that you and your family do together, where you pack up some snacks that don't go bad, or some like easy, quick fixed meals, so that the next time you and your family are going somewhere and you meet someone that needs it, there's something ready for you to give to them, right? Who are those people that need you, and how can you go to them? How can you help them? we don't have to be limited by what we don't have or what we think we need, and we don't have to be limited by the fact that we are just one person. Jesus is inviting us to just meet the poor from where we are, and as his disciples, we do that. We say yes, we serve the poor. And so I really want to encourage you to do that this week, and to let me know how that goes. And leave us a comment. What is the need in your community? Who are the people around you that need you to serve them, need you to go out to them? And how will you do that this week? How will you go to them in the name of Jesus? Let us know, give us some ideas, and anything else that comes through your own prayer and your own reflection about these readings, make sure you leave that as well. And if you like this video, if you're encouraged by it, or if it motivated you to go out there and to take Jesus at his word and to serve the poor, you can subscribe to our channel, you can share this video with a friend, and you can come back next week. I'll see you then.